All right, so questions. These are, again, you're gonna ask questions every single day, and it's good to know these. And really all we're doing is just adding these simple words in front of questions or statements that we already know how to prepare or to say. So who is Oi? Oi. Ofer is where. Ofer is where. I used to get this mixed up all the time with when, which is afer. But au fair, or sometimes you'll just hear people say fair, and they're saying where. They could also be saying when as well. We'll get to that one. But au fair is where. How is fa'ape fair? That's kind of more, I won't say it's a more formal way to say it, but that's just another way, put it like that. And then oa. Oa, you also hear oa with what, and there's two kinds of what. There's going to be a singular what, olea, and then there's a plural what, oa. And one is singular and one's plural because, as we talked about in week one, there's a le, which is there are limiter. So that's for the singular what's, and if you take the le away, it's going to be plural. Excuse me for someone. Okay, no, they're in. Okay, and then afer, that's our when, and that's like a future tense when. Afer. And you might just hear people say for short. And then anafer is our past tense when. And you'll hear ana in other instances in other instances to mean something in the past. They're referring to something in the past. That prefix right there, ana. So it's kind of like a past tense. So, and then Y is I say and then whatever your question is. Okay. Now we're going to go through each one of these individually and just with some examples. So when you're asking who, it could be you're asking just who the person is. So that'll be like a noun phrase. So of course to say the boss, we would say ole pule, right? But if we're asking who's the boss, we would say oai le pule. We don't have to say oai ole pule, right? So the noun phrase, the whole noun phrase would be ole pule means the boss, but if we're gonna say who's the boss, we just say ole pule. Okay. We can have a whole action phrase, and in this case, we're having like here's a whole sentence here. We're saying na, past tense, ave esse, take away, ave esse, take away, lau, lau is my, ta'avale is car. So past tense take away is took. Okay, took my car. And then if you want to say who took my car, you just say "oi" in front of that statement. "Oi na avese la ukavale." See that? So all we did is just put the "oi" in front of there. The rest of this we already know. That's our tense. Na, ave, esse goes together. So you might see it put together. You might even see ave essea. We'll talk about that later on. But ave esse, so to take away, and then my car, my car. Um, and then target phrase, or location phrase, in the house, in the house. So i tutonu olefale, I tutonu olefale. It's just how we say in the house. But if we want to say who's in the house, then you just put the oi in front of it. Oi I tutonu olefale. Or you might hear oi lae tutonu olefale. So like lae is one of our prepositions, remember? This is also a preposition as well, the E, and then we're saying E to tonu O. But you might also hear like oi lae. So if you hear lae before even this preposition, it's like who's over there? So goes this la, it's kind of like a different location. So lae I to tonu olefale. Oi lae to tonu olefale. Okay, so oh, again, same things we already learned. We're just putting the question out in front. All right. How do you know if you need Totonu? I saw before you said in class, it was just Ile Vasenga. Yeah, so Ile Vasenga is just like at the class or in the class. If you wanted to be more specific and say inside of the class, so then that would be I totonu ole vasenga. So, I mean, they both in context they mean the same thing, but if you really wanted to be more specific, and you're saying like, ole tama I totonu ole vasenga. Or if you wanted to say, if you just want to say Olekama itutonu, not itutonu, Olekama Oletama ile vasenga. I guess that in that case, I probably would say is inside of the class. But I should probably write this out if that. Not sure if that. Okay, that makes sense. Good, because I was confusing myself. But yeah, there's some things just in context. You don't necessarily need to say because if I'm at the car, I'm probably in the car. So, but if you wanted to make that distinction and say inside of the car, then you would say I totonu ole fale. But maybe I'm just at the car, like I'm standing by the car or whatever, and you just say, yeah, he's at the car. Then I would say I well at the car is I le ta'avale, like at the car. But if I wanted to say inside the car, then I would say I totonu ole ta'avale. Okay. All right. And then how and what. So these first two right here is actually what. And I kind of just said it. So this is our singular what. Olea, right? And then our plural what is going to be oa. And then you also hear oa to me like how. And then fa'apefea is going to be how as well. So going back to our what, our singular and plural what, a singular what example is going to be like Olea lenamea. Olea lenamea. So we have our singular what, and then we say lenamea. So lena is going to be that, a singular that thing. What is that thing? Right? And we're talking about a singular thing. So we singular thing, lenamea. So we need a singular what? Olea. Okay, so it has to agree when you're using your whats. If you say oa lenamea, that sounds a little funny because we have a plural what. Um, if you have a plural what, if you say "Oaliname," I mean, it's not a big deal, but that's a plural what, and then you have a singular thing. So to make it agree, we just say "Oaliname." Okay. Now in this case, we say "Oaname." It's okay now because we see that we have a plural what, "Oa," and then lena is singular. And remember, if we wanted to just make lena like a plural of that is those. So then that's our na. Wa na mea. What are those? Okay. So it's just that, and that just takes practice because if it's if it's a singular thing, you want to have a singular what. If it's a plural thing, then you want to have a plural what. All right. And then here's some two common phrases that you'll hear. You'll hear like, wa mai oi. Like, how are you? Wa mai oi. And then you might also hear if I pe mai oi. I don't want to say one is formal, informal. But if I had to pick one to be formal, then I would say like, if I prefer. But you'll hear both of them. You hear both. So, all right, and when. So we have affair is used for future references. Okay. You might even see the O before the affair. A lot of times people will just omit it and they just say affair ete. But if you're reading, a lot of formal writings are going to put the O in there. And then when you say when, it's almost, I won't say almost always, but a lot of times it's going to introduce an action. When did this happen? When will, she come? When did she say that or whatever? So those are all actions. If you can think of a way to put a different kind of phrase after that, but because it's an action, so right after the affair or right after the when, we have a tense marker. So whatever the tense marker is going to be. Okay, in this case we have ete, so that's it's a present tense. Aluiyai, aluiyai. But now here's one of those things. The affair, because it's a future tense, that it kind of makes the rest of it a future tense. So when somebody asks affair était aluyai, so it's like when will you go to it? When will you go there? Or when will you go to it? So because this is a future tense, it just kind of cancels out this present tense statement. Ete aluyai. So that's like you go to it. Like you presently go, but since it's a future tense when, and people you'll commonly hear people say it like that. Like o afe ete aluyai. Okay, so that's one way to say it. Another way to say it, which you might hear less, is going to be like "o affair." So this is already a future tense when, right? But then now you have a future tense marker, "olea." This actually should have like that and that. "Olea e aluyai." So when future tense marker, you go to it. So that's another way to say it, but more than likely, if someone's asking like when will you go? You probably hear like that. Oh, afe ete aluyai. And then this is just a different um statement. Amata or amaka means to start. So when will or when does it start? I'm sorry, when does it start? O afe e amakai. O afe e amatai. Excuse me. And feel free to stop me at any point if you have any questions. Past tense when. Okay, this is also a when. So Anna, again, Anna kind of means like it could mean like if something happens to me, then so you might hear that. It's also used for hypotheticals, and it's also used for past tense. It's like a past tense prefix. So Anna fair. So it's when, but it's past tense when. So en affaire. And then again, you might hear the O. You might see the O, especially in writings, people will say it, but a lot of times it's just omitted out. People won't say it. They'll just say en affaire, and then they'll go right into our tense subject action or tense action subject. Okay. So it usually introduces the verb again. So it's after the when, here comes our verb and with our tense marker, and then the rest of the statement can only be used with past tense markers. So that is the thing to remember with this. If you say en affaire, then it's going to be en affaire ça or en affaire na. Okay, or I guess you could say like ua, but in that case you probably believe would just say na or sa. But and you see why, because we're talking past tense. So if we were to translate this is going to be when did you go? Now let's try to use a different kind of tense marker. Let's use a future tense marker. So en affaire olea e aluiai. So olea is going to be our future tense marker. So if I say when in the past will you go? It doesn't make sense, I don't think. When will you no, when did will you? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I'm cramping my brain. So it has to be this past tense when en affaire has to go with a na or a sa. Okay, so if you got that, write your sentences out and practice en affaire with na and sa. All right. Where? Okay, where is au fair? Or again, you might just hear people say fair, like where. It could be with noun phrases like this one. The boy is Oletama, right? But if we ask where's the boy, we don't have to say Ofer Oletama. We drop the O and just say Ofelekama, Ofeletama. Where is the boy? Where's the boy? Same thing with our actions, verb phrases. Where, the rest of this we already know. even if you don't know what it's saying, you can still break it down. Tense, sa, is you, avatu is to take. And then the I, that's I'll come back to that, but just think of this as a subject or a placeholder, and then la upeni, la upeni. So my pen, I'm sorry, o fea sa e avakuai la upeni. So the I is kind of like if you notice here, we'll see like uh here's our tense, our subject, and then action. Okay, so like what is this the I if it's not a preposition? That maybe you're thinking that. And then here's our la upeni. So whenever you see ofer and you see and there's an action involved, after the action, sometimes you'll well not sometimes, but a lot of times you'll hear like the I. And all that is kind of like for whatever reason after the action, people want to put the I there anyway. So it's kind of like a subject placeholder. Nobody really gave me a good explanation on why people say that, but it's just there. People have been saying it since I've been a kid, or since I've been around the language. So it's just kind of natural to hear it. And that's the only explanation I got. It's just like it's a subject placeholder. So I'm sorry, ofer sa e avakuaila upeni. Or they might even omit it. O a fea sa e avakula upeni. That kind of sounds funny to me, but if you hear the
Is that I only as the end of a question or the action in a question? Is it only when you're using fear or when you're using where?
yeah, so when you hear when questions it's not just au fait, but if I heard the question correctly, but like I say I uses it a lot as well. So and again, I don't really have a good explanation of why it's there. It's just something that is done in the language. But and then after you do so many like repetitious exercises and writing and also saying them out loud, you'll be like, oh, I feel like I need to say I right there. I don't know why, but or maybe you will know why. But yeah, ofer, and then also you know ICA, which I think is the next slide. If I answered the question right.
Yeah, tala.
Okay. And target, or whenever you see target, it's also like same as location. So the location. Ofelae, again, this is our preposition. So we go right into our preposition. So all of this is our location. Ofe, where, over there inside of the house. Where in the house? Ofelae tutonu ilifale. Oh, that should be a O. Ofelae tutonu olefale. All right. So where at in the house? And if you do see the I, it comes after the verb, okay? It comes after the verb or like the action phrase. So up here, if you look, the only one that really had an action phrase was this statement. That's why we said the I, right? Over here we have where, and then we went right into in the house. All of this is a location phrase, but up here we're talking about we say where did you take? So right after take comes the I. Okay. Again, that's just what I came up with. I don't know if that's actually um how it goes, but 100% of the time so far, that's pretty much why the I is there, I think. And then I say is why, and it's usually followed up again by a verb phrase. So you're asking why did this happen? Why will you go to the game? Why um stuff like that. It's almost always an action. So and then in Samoan, if you were to say, well, why her, or why the boy, why the girl, why Johnny, there's like you would kind of still phrase it in a way that as an action afterwards, and we could talk about that in a second, but um usually has the reference I or EI. So this is just like the last one. Um, and as a question, I and EI represent we'll say the location that needs to be answered. So that might sound confusing, but we have some examples here. I represents the location noun or the target. So why did that happen? Okay, so why is Aisea na e tupuai? So na e tupuai. That's actually a different um that's like why did you I should re let me rewrite that. Oh, there we go. I s- oh, Aisea na tupuai. So that's it's just short form. Like, why did that happen? So past tense happened, and then it. So now, if you look at it, there's our tense. Our action is tupu, and then right after the action, since it's already understood, we're saying why did that happen? It's understood what happened. We haven't talked about it in this example, but if somebody asks why did that happen, it's understood. So the subject is understood. So that's where the I comes from. So in Samoan, it's just the subject is understood. We say I. So I say ah na tupoi. Like what? Why happened that? Why did that happen? Um, EI, so look at this. The E is, that's how we go into our location phrase with our preposition. And then the I is, again, that's something that's already understood. So why did you go there? Why did you go there? We didn't say, there could be anywhere, but it's understood between the speaker and the listener. So that's where they say EI. See? Um, where's my, okay, EI. Why did you go there? Or why did you go to it? I say and then past tense, and then you go to it or to there. Tense, subject, action. I say na e aluiai. I say na e aluiai. In why questions, I and EI follow the action phrase. So again, here's our action and then EI. Same thing with up here. Um, disregard that. Then tupu is our action and the I came after. All right. No questions on that? Nope. Okay. So, and then to reply to why is there's several of them. And if to be safe, you can just say awa, awa, but incorporate the other ones as well. There's leanga, there's ona, and then there's onao, which ona o and ona kind of would it'll make sense after we explain it. But if someone says, why did you go, I say, ah, na e alui ai. Why did you go there? Why did you go to it? Awa na o fia ai. So na o fia ai is just past tense I wanted to eat. Past tense, I was hungry because I was hungry. Awa, because I was hungry. Awa na o fia ai. So, and you can just start it off with awa. If it's a bad reason, if it's a bad reason, so leanga. Leanga means bad, but in this form or this context, it can mean because of a bad reason. So if I say na o alu ilo ufalele, oh, I'm sorry, na o alu ilo ufale. So I went to my house leanga because ele iai se kupe because I didn't have any money because I didn't have any money or I didn't have money. Na oalu ilo ufale leanga ele iai se kupe. So all we're doing is we're just connecting things that we learned. So well, because is a conjunction. I guess you could say that it's puts one phrase and connects it to another. So that's what this leanga just did right there. We connected this whole phrase to that whole phrase. And with practice, it really sounds like you're you're saying something there. So can you write that in English, the sentence you're working? Okay, sure. Um, all right. So na oalu. So I guess I'll try to do it a couple. Let me do this a couple different ways. So copy that, go to our whiteboard. Okay. So let's just break it down piece by piece. This is our tense. This is our O is I, that's our subject. Action is alu. Okay, our location. All of this is our location, but it starts right here, so I'll just put the L. So it's kind of different. It's because it's past tense I go. How do I want to write this? I'll just do it like this. I went. Okay, so na o alu, past tense I go. So that's I went. So that's our tense subject and action. All of this is our location. I lo ufale, to my house. Okay. Now here's our conjunction is or we're connecting it with leanga. That's our because, and it's a bad because, or a bad reason. I went to my house because ele. So not, so ele is not have a money. So I'm doing like a literal translation. Not have a money. And we know that it's understood that I'm talking about me. So I went to my house because I didn't have money. I did not have money. Not have a money. Ele ya se coupe. Okay, great. Glad that helps. Sometimes it's hard doing the translations because it's not one to one from Samoan to English. So um it can confuse people, especially the way that I do it, because I'm trying to figure out, I want to keep it in a format, but sometimes I confuse myself because it's easier just to say it, but I'm glad that helps. Hopefully it helped everyone else that needed it. Okay, let me go back. And then onna is just another way to say because as well, but it's often used with ua, sa, and te. And that's when you're first starting out, it's kind of hard to remember, which ones to use onna with. And I just hear a lot of people say awa, um, especially like the younger speakers, they'll just say awa for everything. But if you can say onna ua, onna sa, onna e, onna, onna na te or whatever. So in this example, we have e mangaya or e manaya letama ono ua. So this is our because, and then it's preceding the ua tense marker. Ua sasa e lonatina. Ona sasa. I'm sorry. Ua sasa e lonatina. Anyone want to take a crack at this one? Probably heard it just in passing. So oops, that's our tense. And remember, our action can also be an adjective. It's this depends. In this case, manaya or mangaya is our adjective, and then letama, and here's our ona, and it's preceding our ua. So that's going to be our because, and then we start with another tense, sasa. Nobody wants to get a sasa, and then who did the sasa? The lonatina. The boy got spanked by his mom. Yep. There's a little bit more to it. The boy definitely got spanked by his mom. But we're saying e mangaya letama. E mangaya letama. So the boy is nice, or the boy is good. He's a good boy because the mom slapped him, or the mom sasa, the mom, his mom spanked him. A lot of ways you could say that. E mangaya kama una usasa longa kinga. Okay. And then the last one is ona o, and this just means because of, because of. And so ona, and then o, because of. So olo'otangi le toyaina. Toyaina is like a elder man, older man. Ona o, because of lana uotene, because of his girlfriend, because of his girlfriend, or uotene. Olo'otangi, crying the old man because of his girlfriend. And you can also start your sentence off. It doesn't have to be, in the middle. You can flip it around if you do. Because of his girlfriend, ono olana, I'm sorry, ono olana uotene, olotangi le toyaina. So either way, you can flip it around. And actually, all of these, as long as you know the sentence structure, you can flip things around and say it different ways. Um, so that's why I think it's really important to really master sentence structure as you're learning your vocabulary. Okay, so we won't do this today. I'll try want to get into a couple other subjects, but just something to do on your own. Think about hopefully you're comfortable at least creating phrases or sentences, tense, action, subject, location, and now combine them with questions. So when you're looking at people on the street live in action, or if you're looking at pictures, like ask questions about like, why the boy look at the girl? Why is the girl kiss the mom or the grandma? You know, Oleale, ingoa le kama. Or I'm sorry, oale ingoa ole kama. So what's the name of the boy? What's the name of the girl? Where are they? Um, just anything that you can put together and then try to write sentences from it. And the more you do those, and the more fluent you'll be at it, and then speak it out as you're writing it. Speak those things out. Um, it just really helps a whole lot. Um, okay, so what else does it say here? Take turns asking. Okay, this is something that we did in I think a couple of sessions ago, but it kind of does take some time, so I'll just leave that here for you guys, and I'll upload this also on the website as well. Okay, so Fia and Mana'o. I know you guys probably heard this before. Fia is to want, Mana'o is also to want. But um some people use them interchangeably. You can hear them sometimes doing it, and you can kind of tell in context what they're saying. But I guess as a rule, Fia is used to express wanting an action. So ote fia I, like I want to eat or I'm hungry. E fia moi wants to sleep. Lo mato tama. I'm sorry, our father wants to sleep. E fia moi lo mato tama. E fia alu wanna go. My mom and me and my mom want to go. E fia alu lo utinama. So you see, all of these are actions after the fia. Fia, alu, fia moi, fia ai, fia moi, fia alu. Mana'o oftentimes is used to express like you're wanting a noun. I know it sounds kind of weird, but like, and then it's stated like this: Mana'o I se sapasui. So it's like the desire is going to a location phrase. That's a really technical way of saying it, but mana'o I se sapasui. So my mana'o, my desire or my want is going to the sapasui. Sa ia mana'o I le fesoa so. That's always a hard word for me to say. To help, like she wanted some help. He wanted help. Fesoa so ninga. Fesoa so ninga. So past tense, we'll say he wants, and what does he want? Fesoa soani. Fesoa soaninga. I'm sorry. If anybody can say that better, that's great, but it's always hard for me. But so that's what he wants. He wants to help, but it's worded this way: Mana'o I le pesoasoaninga. Okay. O te mana'o I se sapusui. All right. It's not always said that way, but like if in most writings, it's gonna be mana'o goes to a location, fia goes to an action. All right. No questions. Okay, and then another thing, these are just kind of like random things that you'll see in writings all the time. Verbs as nouns. You can take most verbs, and then if you put a GA at the end, it turns the verb or the action into a noun. So if I say amata means to start. If I say amatanga, it's gonna turn it into a noun. So the beginning. So you have to make sure that you use the right tense for it. So if I say amata, which is an action, then you know you have to use sa, na, e, ua, olo'o, ole'a. Those would be the tense markers that you would use for that. But whenever you see that if you're thinking it's an action, but it has a GA after it, chances are it's gonna be a noun. So you would word it as a noun. So ole amatanga, the beginning, the beginning. Or like in the Tusipaia, the Bible, you might see Ile Amatanga. So that's going to be like in the beginning, in the beginning. So that's, and you can even start, you'll see sentences that start like a preposition, like Ile Amatanga. In the beginning, there was light and God said this and that. So just be aware of that. Like it doesn't always have to be O to start a sentence off. It could also be, if it says E, then that's kind of like saying in the beginning, which kind of goes back to someone's question of like, can it be E to tonu, or can you just say E, ile, E to tonu inside of the beginning? I guess that doesn't make sense. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's understood in the beginning. Um, that's it's in the beginning, but it's not inside of the beginning. We wouldn't have to say itutonu ole amtanga. All right. To play means ta'alo, e ta'alo. That's the action, so we use the action tense. But if we put the GA on the end of it, it's ta'alonga, the game. Ta'alonga is a game, but if we say ole ta'alonga, that is the game. It is the game. You put a GA at the end of ngalue. Ngalue is to work. Then now it's ngalwenga. It's the job. Okay, it's a little different. That's the job. All right. Um, Here's another way, the expression of self. So the word lava, when you hear like someone says talofa, yeah, talofa lava, it's just you're putting a stamp on it. You're making it, you're enhancing whatever that is you're saying. So if I say oa'u lava, so oa'u is me, but if I say oa'u lava, now I'm saying myself. If I say o'oi, I'm saying you. But if I say o'oi lava, then you're saying yourself. You see, it's the same pattern all the way down. Oia, him, her, or it. But if I say oia lava, that's himself, herself, itself. E mawhai ono o whai le ngaluenga e au lava. So we're gonna talk about helping phrases, so don't worry about this right here. But e au lava, this myself. I'm gonna do the work by myself. I'll do the job by myself. E mawhai ono o whaile ngaluenga e au lava. And then o ia e alofa ya te ia lava. So what's it say? He e alofa loves, and then here's our location. Ya te ia lava, himself. He loves himself, or she loves herself. O ia e alofa ya te ia lava. All right. And own is own, like your own self. You would just put the your possessive pronoun and then with the pronoun and then say lava. So lo oi lava, your own, your own. So that's your possessive pronoun to mean your. And then if I say oi lava, so that's you, like yourself. But if you wanted to say your own, all you gotta do is put the possessive pronoun before it. Lo oi lava. And that works with all of them. So, um, and then we did talk about starting with subjects, and let's just do an example. I'll just pull this out. So, oletama nata umayaile upumoni. So if we wanted to just do our tense, subject, action, um, location, if we wanted to do it just the way that we've been learning it the whole time, how would we reword this sentence right here? Oletama nata umayaile upumoni. How would we say that? We would start with our tense. So it's going to be na. Our action is ta'u. And then the mai is going to go with the ta'u because ta'u is to tell. And then tell to me, not ta'u mai. And then don't worry about the I right now. Who did the action is going to be our subject of letama. We don't have to say o letama because it's coming after the action. So we just say letama and then le upu moni. So we have past tense told the boy the truth. So the boy told me the truth. Nata umaile tama le upumoni. Now, if we wanted to take, and you'll hear people speak this way often, they'll start with the subject. And this is almost like how we do in English. So instead of saying it this way, they'll start the subject like start the sentence like with, there we go. Oletama. Okay, so now the subject is out in front. Then we have our na, that's our tense. What comes after the tense? The action, ta'u, mai. And then because we already know who did the action, the subject, we already said the subject. Again, there's this tendency to say the I after the action. Okay, so that's where the I comes. If you hear it, you're like, why did they keep saying that? That's because, well, we started our sentence off with the, I'm sorry, we started our sentence off with the oletama. And instead of it being over here after the action, we started our sentence off with that. Oletama nata umai. And again, there's just a tendency to say I'm sorry, not I, but I after the action, or put a subject after the action. So that's our holder, and then le upu moni. So the boy, and this is almost just like English. The boy told to me the truth. The boy told the truth, almost word for word, at least phrase wise. Okay. And then oleo leo. Anyone knows what that means? Oleo leo. Leo leo is a police. So the police, and it's plural. I guess you could say ole leo leo. But we're saying multiple police. And then oloo, two is like two is to stand, that's singular, but two, that's a plural. So the police are standing, or like they're present in front. So I'll just say, is that right in English? Are standing. And then the I, again, since we already started with the police, we got our subject out in front. We still have the tendency to say the subject after the action, so we just say I. And then in front of, oh, I'm sorry, tato ole tato fale, of our house. The police are standing in front of our house. Ole oleo olo tutuai luma ole tato fale. Okay. I know I'm throwing a lot at you guys today. So the last part is helping verbs. Do you guys want to stop here, or is that I know you probably might feel like you guys might be a little burnt out. This is kind of we already know this, but we're it confuses a lot of people because there's two verbs. It's two verbs back to back. So I don't hear any complaints or anything. So I'll just do it like this. Look at this. We have our tense, right? We know that part. That's our tense. Don't worry about this for right now. This is the new thing. And then we have e alu le teine y le fono taiao. So alu is to go, that's our action. Who's doing it? The girl. And then to the meeting tomorrow. This might well, I'll say it like this, ile tayao, in the morning. Because this might not be as confusing. Ile tayao. So in the morning. Okay, so all of this is our location. Going to the meeting in the morning. Okay. This mafai ona, this is a helper verb, and then ona connects mafai and alu. Mafai means can or able to, and go is alu. So e mafai ona alu le teine y le fono y le tayao. So the girl can go to the meeting in the morning. E mafai ona alu le teine y le fono y le tayao. Okay. Um, if I wanted to use um a pronoun, so up here we have our common noun. Common noun, same thing. It's gonna go after our action. Common nouns go after the action. Okay. Now, if I want to use a pronoun, it can go before the action, it can go after the action. So here's one way to say it, and this is before the action. Never mind the mafai ono right now. E, well, I guess e o. We wouldn't say e o, but here's our tense, here's our subject, here's our action, and then ile fono, again, ile tayao. Sorry, I have that. In the morning. So all of this is our location. Now, we have mafai ona o alu. So I can go to the meeting in the morning. E mafai ona o alu, e mafai ona o alu ile fono ile tayao. I can go to the meeting in the morning. Everything is the same that we've already learned, except that this mafai ona that's the helper verb, and the ona just connects connect mafai and alu. And same here. So in this one, we said the pronoun before the action. If we wanted to say it after the action, we just say aluau. E mafai ona aluau ile fono ile tayao. Ile tayao. All right. And we do have a handout. Let me just go to that and then we'll end it there. We'll come back and do our review next next week. Oh wow. Okay, so here's a worksheet and it has the answers on it so you can practice with this. I'll copy that and put it in the chat. Boom. And then there's another one somewhere. Oh, right here. So this one just kind of like breaks it down. So tense marker, whatever the helping verb is, and a lot of cases you can see can, which is mafai or able to, and then ona just connects the helper verb this with the main verb. The main verb is going to be down here. So feso soani is to help. So can help. And then you can either use if you have a pronoun that goes before, then you say, in this case, I, or if you wanted to say the pronoun after, you would say a'u. So in this case, we say e mafai ona o fesosoani ya te oe. I can help you. I'm able to help you. All right, let me see here's our and we'll end it with this worksheet right here. These are, oh, someone said, how would you say I will help you instead of I can help you? Okay, so yeah, that would be different. That's we don't necessarily need a helper verb for that. So I will help you. What's our future tense marker? I'll let you answer that. What's our future tense marker? Oh, yep, let me see. Ooh, yeah, you could say, well, that would be like I have helped you. If you say oo feso soani. Well, okay, let me write the first one first. Ole a um o fe soa soani ya te oi. So will and then I help to you. I will help to you. I will help you. Ore a o fe so soani ya te oi. I will help you. So that's different from what we're doing here. And then I'll just use Mariah's example. If we say ua, oops, if I say ua, if I say this, what does this mean? Soani ya te oi. It means slightly different. Okay, yeah. So if I say ua, this is gonna mean I have helped you. Like it's I recently helped you. It's kind of present tense, but I'm updating you. Yeah, I've helped you. Like, but this right here is gonna be future. This is future tense. This is like past tense, just started. Awesome. And then but to say I can help you, there we go. To say I can help you, then we're gonna use a different sort of slightly different e mafai is can, e mafai, ona, and then I, and then fe soa soani ya te oi. Okay. So e o fe soa soani ya te oi would be our I help you. But if I want to say I can help you, e mafai ona o fe soa soani ya te oi. There's several other ways to say this as well, because there's like you could say o te, you could say e mawhai ona fesosoania fesosoania uya te oi. But if we can just get the basic um the basic structure of it, this is our helper and it's connected with ona to our main verb. Okay. Helper and main verb. Okay. I'll end it right there. This right here is our list of helper verbs are common ones. These are our common helper verbs right here. And I don't think there's any other worksheets, but if you get a chance or get time, do this worksheet right here, and it has the answers down here at the bottom. Or these are just some of the answers. There's other ways to say it. So if you're sitting by somebody that speaks Samoan and they have another way to word it, that's great. These are just kind of like the real basics according to the stuff that or formats that we learned in class. So I'll let you guys go 5 minutes early. Sorry I talked the whole entire time, but thank you guys for being here. If you have any questions, hang around. If not, then I will see you guys next class.
Coffee Tay will.
I love them.
Yeah, perfect.